AI characters are taking over the internet right now, from virtual fitness influencers to fully AI-generated creators building massive audiences. But here's the reality most people won't tell you. Most AI character generators are a complete waste of your time and money. So, which ones are actually worth using? That's exactly what we're going to find out in this video. Today, I'm testing 4 of the biggest AI character generators and putting them through the exact same stress test. First, we will generate the baseline images and compare quality and consistency. After that, we will attempt to train a custom AI character model. And finally, we'll push those characters into an AI video engine. By the end of this test, you'll clearly see which tools can actually build realistic digital twins and which ones are just selling hype. If you're new here, I'm Lea Kai, and on this channel, I experiment with the newest AI tools and workflows to see what creators can really build with them. So if that sounds interesting, consider subscribing, because I have a lot more experiments like this coming. Now, let's dive in. We are starting with the industry default, Midjourney. Everyone knows it, everyone recommends it. But here's the real question. Can it actually build a usable AI character, or does it just generate pretty images? We're about to find out. To keep this test completely unbiased, I'm running every tool through the exact same prompt and process. Midjourney is a paid engine. Pricing starts at around $10 a month. That is enough to generate 200 images per month. So that is the baseline I'm using for this test. Let's generate the first image. This is the exact prompt I'm using. You can pause the video and take a screenshot. For this test, I'm forcing the engine toward hyperrealism. I'm using a vertical aspect ratio for social content, and I'm keeping the stylization locked at 150, not too creative, not too flat. Look at this output. One of these results immediately stands out. The bone structure actually looks like a real human, so I'm locking this in as our reference. Now it's time to stress test the consistency. Generating one good image is easy. The real metric is whether the system can hold the identity. So we generate different angles, different expressions, and different lighting. I'm dropping this image into Omni Reference. This feature tells the tool to anchor to this specific face. If you skip this step, Midjourney will give you a completely different person every time. And this is where the tool starts breaking. At first glance, it looks fine, but the second you look closer, the illusion shatters. The skin looks entirely too smooth, the facial geometry shifts slightly, and that classic AI plastic look starts creeping in. It doesn't feel real, it feels generated. There's a clear pattern in the code here. Close-up shots fail entirely, while slightly zoomed out shots pass the eye test. But even the best ones aren't flawless. In terms of consistency, it is highly unstable. The next logical step is to train a custom character model, but Midjourney's infrastructure doesn't support that, so we skip that and move straight into video generation. I take one of our strongest outputs and prompt a simple action. Take a sip of coffee, look to the side, and smile. Nothing complex. If the engine struggles here, it will never handle an advanced workflow. Here is the render. It is acceptable, but it is not convincing. The movement is slightly off, the micro-expressions aren't natural, and there is a subtle, uncanny delay that your brain picks up instantly. I push the engine further with a different environment. And that's where the render breaks completely. The harder you push this engine, the more artificial the output becomes. The final verdict: Midjourney is exceptional at making art, but it fails at creating a realistic digital twin. For image quality, it scores a 5 out of 10. Beautiful, but not hyper-realistic. Consistency scores a 4 out of 10. The identity drifts too much. Character training gets a 0. The feature doesn't exist. And video generation comes in at 4.5. Usable, but not believable. If your goal is a consistent, hyper-realistic AI character ready for video, Midjourney is not the best tool. And a lot of creators constantly ask me, Lea, generating the character is fine, but how do I actually make money with them? If you want the exact breakdown of how I generated $6,800 in 50 days, click the first link in my description for the free 90-minute training. Now, back to the test. Alright, tool number 2 is Leonardo AI. This platform offers a free tier, but for this benchmark, I'm using the $12 per month plan. That allocates around 8,500 tokens, which gives us the bandwidth to test multiple models without hitting a paywall. Let's execute the image generation. One of Leonardo's massive advantages is its model library. You are not locked into a single engine, but that architectural freedom will burn through your token budget instantly if you aren't calculated. For the first render, I'm using the Flux 2 Pro model with our baseline prompt. The results are decent, but completely unremarkable. So let's route the prompt through Seedream 4.5. This is an immediate upgrade. The facial structure is far more natural and less robotic. But I want to push the system. I run the exact same parameters through the GPT Image 1.5 model. Comparing all three engines, Seedream is the clear winner. The face is grounded, believable, and has real texture. I'm locking this in as our base. Leonardo also features built-in in-painting tools to edit specific elements. It's a powerful feature, but we are grading the base output. I download the Seedream image and move to the hardest test, consistency. Right away, the data is better than Midjourney. The facial geometry holds up, the skin retains its texture, and it actually feels like the exact same digital asset. However, the engine still hallucinates. Look right here. The steering wheel is on the wrong side of the boat. And here, the AI generated an extra hand. The realism is higher, but the code still makes glaring errors. Instead of tweaking the prompt, I change one variable. I switch the engine back to GPT. Now the outputs stabilize. The face locks in better across multiple generations. Consistency improves, but it is still not flawless. Now we move to character training. Midjourney couldn't do this, so Leonardo takes the lead. Inside the training dashboard, I create a new model, upload our clean reference images, and initiate the training sequence. You do not need a massive dataset. A few high-fidelity images will work. This rendering process takes between 30 minutes and a few hours. While the server processes that, we move to the final test, video generation. Using our base image, I push it through the Higgsfield video model. The render is decent, but it suffers from a slow, overly cinematic motion that destroys the realism. Next, I route it through Kling 2.5 Turbo. Again, the output is completely average, nowhere near the level of realism we require. Our custom model training is now complete. Let's see the output. The consistency is incredibly strong. The face stays perfectly locked across completely different environments. But there is a catch. The skin has completely smoothed out into plastic. The realism is gone. That is the Leonardo trade-off. You get massive control, custom training, and strong consistency. But balancing true realism and consistency at the exact same time is a bottleneck. Image quality scores a 7 out of 10. Consistency scores a 6.5. Strong, but prone to hallucinations. Character training scores a 7. It functions, but relies heavily on the underlying model. Video generation scores a 5 out of 10. It feels artificial. Tool number 3 is OpenArt. This platform is dominating the space, and for a very specific reason. It operates as a complete, all-in-one studio. Pricing scales with usage, but I'm running the $27 per month plus plan, which gives 12,000 credits. That is a massive operational budget compared to the previous tools. We input our baseline prompt. The advantage here is simultaneous generation. I am running Seedream 5.0, Nano Banana 2, and GPT Image 2 all at the exact same time. And I can confirm the credit economy here is highly optimized. You can test far more parameters without draining your account. Analyzing the outputs, the GPT Image 2 engine completely dominates. The skin has natural imperfections, the lighting is grounded, and the heavy AI filter is gone. This is the cleanest asset we've built today. I am locking it in. We move to consistency. Using our GPT Image 2 asset as the anchor, I generate the variations. This is a massive step up. The geometry holds perfectly. The skin retains its realistic texture. The identity does not drift. This is the highest consistency metric in the test so far. Now we build the custom model. I upload our baseline assets and initiate the training sequence. Choose her name and click Create. And here she is. Now for the next test. I run the exact same prompt, but route it through our newly trained model using the Nano Banana Pro engine. Look at this output, 100% consistent. The skin has a natural texture. There is zero plastic feel. This is the first time in the test that hyper-realism and absolute consistency are operating in perfect sync. Now we move to video. I push the asset through Kling 3.0 and simultaneously run it through Google Veo 3.1 to compare the physics. VEO 3.1 stands out immediately. The kinetic motion is incredibly natural, the micro movements mimic a real human, and the natively generated audio is perfectly synced. The Kling 3.0 output is acceptable, but placed next to VEO, it feels rigid and artificial. The engine choice here dictates your success. Let's run one final physics test using the WAN engine. Here is the VEO 3.1 render. And here is the WAN render. Both are powerful, but VEO holds the crown for true human realism. And this is where the OpenArt architecture separates itself from the pack. You aren't just prompting images, you are building a content factory. You have access to motion sync, lip sync, and built-in voice generation, all natively connected within one dashboard. You don't have to duct tape 5 different softwares together. The verdict? This is easily one of the most powerful tools in this benchmark. You get precise character training, access to the best models on the market, an optimized credit economy, and outputs that bypass AI detectors. For rating, image quality scores an 8.5 out of 10. Consistency scores an 8. Character training scores an 8.5. Video generation scores a highly impressive 8 out of 10. OpenArt is the first tool on this list that operates as a complete system, not just a toy. If you want to integrate this into your workflow, I've secured a 15% discount link in the description. Now we move to the final platform, Higgsfield. Let's see if their engine can outperform the OpenArt baseline. Like the others, Higgsfield runs on a tiered system, but realistically, the basic plan is a bottleneck. To execute high-level workflows, you need the Plus plan at $47 a month, making it the premium option on this list. Inside the dashboard, you have access to a highly curated model library. I bypassed the lower tiers and immediately run our prompt through Nano Banana, GPT Image 2, and Seedream. The jump in fidelity is undeniable. The GPT Image 2 engine produces a stunning output. The facial geometry is flawless, the lighting is cinematic, and most importantly, the identity is incredibly stable. I am locking this in as our master reference. We push into the consistency test. Different camera angles, different poses, same exact digital identity. The engine handles this flawlessly. The face stays perfectly locked, the skin absorbs the environmental lighting, and the output feels like a raw photograph rather than a generated file. At this stage, Higgsfield might take the top spot. We move to character training. I upload 5 reference assets and initiate the build. 5 is the minimum viable data, but feeding this specific engine more references will exponentially increase the output quality. But there is a limit you need to know about. Once your model is trained, you are locked into the Higgsfield Soul engine. You lose the ability to swap underlying models. Instead, the workflow shifts to style control. You guide the engine through preset visual environments: old smartphone camera, natural light, and digital camera. The realism generated by these presets is staggering. The environmental lighting perfectly wraps around the character. The textures are gritty. The assets are completely believable. Even when we stress test the extreme lighting styles, the identity remains locked. I bypass the presets and use custom prompting for a boat scene and a lifestyle setup. Again, the realism is flawless. 0 identity drift, 0 hallucinations. At this point, the image engine easily secures an 8 out of 10. Now we execute the final video generation. I take our master asset and push it through the Kling 2.6 motion engine. The render is incredibly clean, but the physics default to that slow-motion cinematic pacing. It is highly polished, but lacks the chaotic micro-movements of a real human. I run a second generation. Same outcome. The quality is elite, but it feels slightly too perfect. However, Higgsfield gives you access to VEO, OpenSora, and WAN, allowing you to bypass that limitation by swapping the motion engine. Beyond the generators, Higgsfield matches OpenArt by providing a full production suite. You can render UGC content, integrate physical products into the scene, execute lip sync, and map full motion sequences inside a single platform. This replaces an entire tech stack of subscriptions. The verdict? Higgsfield's baseline realism is absolute top tier. The outputs mimic reality closer than anything else we've tested today. Image quality scores a massive 9 out of 10. Consistency scores an 8.5. Character training scores an 8. Video generation scores a solid 7 out of 10. We have our definitive dataset. Let's review the final telemetry on these 4 platforms. Midjourney is excellent for static art, but fundamentally fails at consistency and video. Leonardo AI offers high-level control, but struggles to balance realism with that consistency. OpenArt is the most robust, all-in-one system on the market with a highly optimized credit economy. And Higgsfield delivers the absolute highest tier of photographic realism. The choice dictates your workflow. For my systems, OpenArt and Higgsfield are the only 2 engines that pass the final benchmark. If you are ready to stop playing with generators and actually build a digital asset that generates revenue, the blueprints are waiting for you. I took the exact framework I used to scale my own AI influencer to $6,800 a month and packaged it into a complete system called the character method. You get the exact content strategies, the growth systems, and the monetization pipeline to turn these pixels into a highly profitable digital asset. Right now, I have a special price locked in just for the first 50 of you. So hit the first link in the description, upgrade your system, and I will see you inside.